Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Don't forget, if you like the video, click on like and subscribe and talk about it on chat lines or wherever it is your social media activities and help us to grow and help more people. I'll talk to you soon.
Haley says, okay, thank you, but it's really hard when you're starting to believe it, but I will keep trying. How long does it take until HOCD goes away? Depends how helpful you are to your brain by or to yourself through your intellect being aware of the separation of the brain and you. As long as you treat the brain as if it's you, you would have a hard time to live your life normally for you. But when you realize that brain is a tool, is an apparatus, like in any other organ that you have, and it has a job to do, and it can get sick, it can malfunction, it can have a disorder, it would need training, retraining, rehabilitation. Just like when we injure ourselves in soccer or some sports, then we have to kind of take it easy and be aware of it that this is not really my hand, it's just injured. So I have to now help it. So the brain, when it malfunctions with all these confusions and thoughts and so on, I got to clearly understand that this is my brain that is talking and thinking this way. That is not going to change me. It's like my friends are making suggestions. Here, smoke this. Here, drink this. Here. It's their suggestion. And I say, thank you. I ignore. First I may make mistakes. Okay, thank you. No, thank you. Okay. But they keep saying, then ignore. I distance myself. Every time they say that, I ignore. I drink my own juice. So you don't have to debate with them. No, I don't want it. Why do you keep saying it? You just eventually ignore them. Then they will fall by the wayside. Eventually they stop suggesting, drink this, smoke this, do what we do. That's their preference, not yours. When the brain suggests these things, it's brain's suggestion, not yours. And brain doesn't have an intellect to want to debate with it. Why do you suggest this? You know that I'm not this. No, brain doesn't know anything. Brain doesn't consult with your values before it conjures up a thought. It doesn't say, hey, listen, Haley, I want to say that you like other girls, that you are homosexual, and you know you're heterosexual. It's not going to consult with you. Can I say that? Haley, can I say that? It's just going to say it. And because it's mounted here, you say, oh, it's coming from my head. The problem is this word, my. Yeah, it's my head, but it's a separate system. It's like my car. But if it breaks down, I'm not breaking down. I'm still the one who is aware that my car broke down. But its problem doesn't mean that I now should go to the mechanic for my side. The car should. The brain should be taken care of and be repaired, not me. I know that the brain is having a disorder, malfunction, but that malfunction is not going to change my gender. It's not going to change me because I'm aware of what I am and I'm aware of this difference, this suggestion that is not in line with my values. So when you're aware of it, your intellect is separated from this. The fact that you're aware of it, that means you're not the suggestion. Because you choose what's in line with your values or not. That's what you do. That's your power. That's how you protect yourself from all these suggestions that the environment, different lifestyle, different people, different friends, they're into it. It's for them. But when it comes to me, I have a choice. Just because it's mounted on my head It doesn't mean I should think of it as me or accept or agree with what it shows up here. It shows up lots of things. A thought of killing someone may come to your mind. Does that mean you're a murderer? You're going to turn it into action? You have to be afraid of it? No, it's a thought. A thought of pedophilia may come to someone's mind, but they will never act on it because they have the intellect to know what's within their values and what's not, and what can be allowed to come into actuality, what cannot. This is our security system. Lots of suggestions could happen, could come to our head, but the fact that we have the ability, a power to veto or choose something is where we would be identified with, is how we are identified with. That's our personality. That's who we are, not suggestions. Suggestions and images and ideas are not what defines us. What we veto and choose, our actions, allow something to become actuality or not, is what defines us. So you don't have to be afraid of thoughts showing up. Many thoughts shows up in every single human being on earth. But when you start believing it, that's when you're in trouble, which means you got to be focused on, I shouldn't believe my brain. I should choose what brain suggests or conjures up. And those are when brain creates thoughts, not because when I want to create something, I create it based on what I want to accomplish, what I want to learn, what I want to figure out, what I want to design, and all these things to advance my life and my projects. That's different when I use the apparatus of the brain. But the brain uses the apparatus, whatever it suggests. I am the power. I don't accept. I don't choose. I ignore. I veto it. In the experiment that Dr. Leibet did, when he asked the participants while they were logging, making a decision about, let's say, something simple, pushing the button, they said, log what time, exact second, as the clock on the clinic was there in the examining room with the, sweeping hand. Log what exact second you make a decision to push the button. Not when you push the button. Make a decision to push a button. So they all logged. And while they were doing that, he had magnetic probes to measure the magnetic field activation in their brain. So, they logged, and looks like at hour 10, 11 seconds, it's logged that they made the decision to push the button, and then they went and pushed the button. And he noticed a half a second before 10, 11 seconds after 10, a half a second before the person has logged that it made the decision, there was a spike in the brain, meaning the brain knew about that decision. So they say, then the brain is the one who makes the decision because it spiked at an activity, magnetic activity, half a second before I actually made the decision. So brain overrides me. Dr. Leibet said, wait, there is more to this experiment. Because then he showed the logs that they had done, and he said, now this time I want you to make a decision to push the button, then go push the button, but make a decision and log the time that you make the decision. But right after you make the decision, say, oh no, I changed my mind. Make the decision, oh no, I changed my mind. So when they logged that, when they did the actual decision making and logged the time for it, the precise second. So when he looked at his logs when he was measuring the electromagnetic field when they were doing that experiment, now they saw, right when he wanted to make the decision, the participant, at let's say whatever second it was, half a second before it, yes, there was a spike that the brain had an activity of electromagnetic activities. But when he decided to veto it and change his mind, brain was not involved. There was no activity in the brain at all. Brain was dead, meaning brain is not involved in your decision making when you engage your intellect and choices and vetoes. When you veto, that means you're beyond the brain. Brain cannot reach you. Therefore, when the brain suggests that you're this or that, you're not this, you're not that, irrelevant. Because it is only you who can allow and decide what you prefer, what you don't, what you choose, what you don't, what you are, what you don't, not the suggestion of the brain. For the same reason that when you want to make a decision to do something simple like push the button, the brain can be involved to sense a certain decision is about to be made. But when you actually veto that same decision that the brain was involved, brain is not there, which means it's beyond its pay grade, which means you're above the brain, which the brain cannot reach you. Therefore, you're not the brain. Brain is not you. So when it suggests all these things that are irrelevant to you and not in line with your values, ignore them. It doesn't have a power to dictate to you what you are, what you want, what you veto, what your choices are, let alone your gender, your inclination, and anything else. All right. These are all normal, Haley. Don't worry. Everybody has this because it's not you. You have to understand that. You keep going back to this, but you have to understand that. It's not you. It's the brain. And brain is a separate system. It's like, it's not you. It's your friend. And your friend suggests something. Well, let her or let him suggest whatever he wants. You are in power because you have the power of veto and choices. That's how you roll in life. Not by suggestion, thoughts, and images. All right.